Welcome to this audiobook, where we will explore the profound teachings of William George Jordan in his work, The Majesty of Calmness. In this book, the author invites us to discover the transformative power of calmness and how this inner quality not only enhances our health, but also enables us to face life's adversities with greatness, wisdom, and grace. Throughout this audiobook, we will learn how to cultivate serenity, make wise decisions, and live a balanced life without allowing external chaos to control our internal well-being. Calmness is not passivity, but a powerful force that connects us with our highest purpose. This is an extended summary of William George Jordan's teachings, created exclusively by us, so you can apply these practical principles to your daily life and transform your experience. If you enjoy this content, subscribe to keep receiving more audiobooks that will help you develop inner peace, strengthen your character, and live with greater clarity and purpose. Turn on notifications so you won't miss our upcoming releases. Let's begin this journey into the Majesty of Calmness. Chapter 1. The Majesty of Calmness. Inner calm is one of the most powerful treasures we can cultivate, and in this first chapter of The Majesty of Calmness, William George Jordan shows us how true majesty lies in the ability to remain calm in the midst of the storm. Calmness is not just a quality to aspire to, but also an active force that can transform our lives. Inner calm becomes a beacon of clarity and peace, even when the outside world seems full of chaos and turmoil. Jordan begins by explaining that calmness is not passivity, but a conscious decision to maintain serenity and control over our thoughts and emotions, no matter what happens around us. When we practice calmness, we find a powerful force to make decisions with clarity, free from fear or confusion. In a world where haste and impulsivity seem to dominate, calmness is an active counterbalance that allows us to act with wisdom and equilibrium. Calmness as a transformative force. Inner calm has the power to transform not only our minds but also our circumstances. By staying centered and serene, we can face any challenge with determination. Jordan explains that calmness enables our decisions to be wiser, our relationships more harmonious, and our reactions more measured and thoughtful. The majesty of calmness lies in the ability to maintain inner peace, even amid external difficulties. When we remain calm, stress and negative emotions dissipate, allowing us to work more effectively, make smarter decisions, and lead a more fulfilling life. Full and satisfying life. The author emphasizes that calmness is the key to a successful life, as it allows our thoughts and actions to align with our highest values. This inner harmony leads us to become more productive, positive, and focused on what truly matters. Calmness as a model for others. Jordan also explores how calmness can have a positive impact on those around us. People who radiate serenity and self-control become beacons for others, inspiring them to follow their example. In a world full of noise and confusion, those who remain calm stand out not only for their ability to handle adversity, but also for their capacity to influence others positively. Calmness thus becomes a powerful tool for leadership, inspiring confidence and fostering an environment of peace where others can thrive. Mind control as the key to calmness. A central aspect of this chapter is the importance of taking control of our minds. The mind is the ground where calmness is sown, but also where fear, anxiety, and unnecessary worries can grow. The first step toward calmness is learning to control our thoughts, rather than allowing the mind to drift into endless worries. Jordan suggests that the consistent practice of concentration, meditation, and mental self-control is essential for maintaining a state of calm and balance. The author also encourages us to be aware of external influences that disturb our peace, such as social stress and external expectations. By learning to filter these influences and focus on what we can control, we can strengthen our ability to remain calm at all times. The impact of calmness on overall well-being. Finally, Jordan concludes this chapter by highlighting how calmness benefits our physical and emotional health. Mental calmness has the power to reduce stress, improve sleep, and enhance our overall well-being. By practicing calmness and self-control, we not only improve our productivity and relationships, but also increase our longevity and vitality. In summary, This chapter reminds us that inner calmness is not just a desirable quality, but a powerful tool that can improve every area of our lives. The true majesty of calmness lies in our ability to remain serene and focused, regardless of external circumstances, allowing us to live with purpose, clarity, and success. This chapter invites us to reflect on how calmness is the solid foundation upon which we can build a life of success, balance, and harmony. By cultivating this quality, we can achieve an inner transformation that will be reflected in our external lives. Chapter 2. Haste, the Plague of America. In this chapter, William George Jordan delves into the phenomenon of haste, describing it as a plague affecting the lives of many in modern society. He explains how haste has become a way of life for many and how this constant acceleration of life's pace undermines what truly matters: calmness, balance, and lasting prosperity. Haste, despite being viewed as a virtue in some cultures, becomes an obstacle when it is not accompanied by mindfulness and control. A fast-paced society and its effects. Jordan begins the chapter by highlighting how deeply haste has embedded itself into daily life. In a society where speed is seen as synonymous with success and productivity, many people fall into the trap of doing more, doing it faster, and doing it now, without truly considering the long-term consequences. The social pressure to always be busy or to complete tasks quickly has caused many to forget the importance of taking the time to reflect, plan calmly, and make well-thought-out decisions. The author points out that while haste may create a temporary sense of progress, it actually detracts from lasting success. Haste generates stress, poor judgment, and mental fatigue, reducing our ability to enjoy the present and make wise decisions that genuinely move us toward our goals. Haste, therefore, is not a solution but rather a distraction from our true essence. The false connection between haste and success. Throughout the chapter, Jordan critiques the popular belief that doing things quickly equates to being more successful. This myth of accelerated productivity is one of the greatest deceptions of modern society. Jordan argues that instead of speeding up our lives, we should learn to slow down, because the speed of our decisions or actions does not guarantee that we are effectively improving our situation. In fact, taking the necessary time to reflect, plan, and carefully execute tasks is what truly leads to lasting success. Moreover, haste breeds frustration when things do not go as expected, as the lack of patience and reflection often leads to errors and poor decisions. The author invites us to reconsider the connection between doing things quickly and achieving our goals, reminding us that true success is not measured by how much work we do in a day, but by the quality and effectiveness of our actions. Haste as a cause of anxiety and burnout. The author describes how constant haste is one of the main causes of anxiety and burnout in contemporary society. People who live with a sense of urgency and are always in doing mode rarely stop to evaluate the impact of their decisions on their emotional and physical well-being. The stress caused by haste can weaken the immune system, trigger emotional imbalances, and increase the risk of serious illnesses. Alan also points out that when we are constantly in do-it-yourself mode, without taking the time to think, reflect, and reset, our mental and physical health is severely affected. Hurry prevents us from enjoying the inner peace and balance necessary to have a full life. Jordan argues that true progress is achieved only when we are able to slow down, stop, and reflect on what really matters. Serenity as an antidote to haste. To counteract the destructive effects of haste, Alan offers serenity as the solution. Serenity, according to the author, is the ability to act calmly and think clearly, even when circumstances seem to rush us. Practicing serenity allows us to make informed decisions, avoid burnout, and enjoy a more balanced life. Alan emphasizes that serenity does not mean inaction, but is the ability to make conscious decisions, reflect before acting, and maintain focus on what really matters. By learning to cultivate serenity, we can work more effectively, relate better to others, and face life's challenges with a calm mind. The art of living at a slower pace. The chapter concludes with a reflection on the importance of slowing down in our daily lives. Alan encourages us to learn to appreciate the natural rhythm of life, to enjoy the present moment, and to avoid the frenzy of constant activity. Living at a slower pace not only helps us improve our health and well-being, it also gives us the opportunity to reflect on our decisions, make better choices, and create a more fulfilling life. Conclusion. This chapter highlights the need to rethink our relationship with haste. Instead of pursuing speed for speed's sake, we must learn to act calmly, thoughtfully, and purposefully. Serenity, far from being a weakness, is a powerful force that allows us to successfully navigate a fast-paced world and create a more balanced and fulfilling. Chapter 3. The Power of Personal Influence. In this chapter, William George Jordan delves into how personal influence is one of the most important factors in our lives. Personal influence is much more than what we express in words. It is the silent and constant impact we have on others through our attitude, our character, and our actions. Allen highlights that this influence is not only for leaders or people in positions of power, but all of us in our daily lives are influencers and can shape the world around us through the way we live and relate to others. Influence as a silent power. Allen begins this chapter by highlighting that true influence does not impose itself. Instead of being loud and arrogant, personal influence radiates subtly through our presence and consistent attitudes. People with great influence do not need to make an effort to convince or force others. Their serenity, wisdom, and example are what attract and persuade those around them. In fact, the power of personal influence is so great precisely because it comes from within, from the internal coherence and integrity of the person. The author argues that everything we do, everything we think, and everything we feel has a resonance beyond ourselves. Our influence extends to the people we interact with, affecting their thoughts, attitudes, and actions, even when we are not aware of it. Every gesture, word, and decision can leave a significant mark on others, since we are all receptive to the energies projected by those with whom we interact. The influence of character. Allen also emphasizes that the key to true influence is character. It is not the position we hold or the things we say, but who we are inside that truly influences others. People with strong character and clear morals are those who have a profound impact on the people around them. It is genuine character that builds trust and respect, and it is this trust that allows us to exert lasting influence. The author emphasizes that true influence is not to do with control or manipulation, but with mutual respect. The person who has integrity and honesty creates an atmosphere that others can trust, which strengthens relationships and makes it easier for their influence to grow naturally. People with admirable character exert a silent but profound influence, positively transforming those around them. Influence through example. In this chapter, Jordan places special emphasis on the fact that the best way to influence others is through example. While our words can inspire others, it is our actions that truly leave a mark. Personal influence is not about saying the right thing at the right time, but about living by the principles we preach. By doing so, we inspire others to follow our example, as consistent actions speak much louder than any speech. The author maintains that when we act with honor, respect, generosity, and compassion, others are attracted to our authenticity and character. True influence is based on authenticity, and that authenticity is reflected in everything we do, from our daily actions to the way we interact with others. The more genuine and consistent we are with our internal values, the greater our ability to positively influence the world. Influence as a continuous process. Jordan also points out that personal influence is not something that is achieved instantly or that can be measured in the short term. True influence is built over time, through consistent actions, wise decisions, and a life lived with integrity. It is a continuous process of personal growth and development that creates a lasting impact on others. The author reminds us that, although we may sometimes not be aware of the impact our presence or behavior has on others, personal influence multiplies exponentially as our actions create a domino effect on the people around us. As we inspire others to live by high principles, that influence extends beyond our immediate lives and becomes a legacy of positivity and change. Personal influence as an act of service. Finally, Allen concludes that personal influence should be seen as an act of service. True influence is not about gaining power or personal recognition, but about elevating others, helping them grow, and guiding them to their own achievements. By serving others, we exert a positive influence that contributes to the common good and improves the lives of those we touch. Conclusion. This chapter invites us to reflect on the power of our personal influence and how we can use it to positively impact the world around us. By focusing on cultivating strong character, living authentically, and exemplifying the values we promote, we can transform our relationships and, most importantly, become agents of positive change in the lives of others. This chapter emphasizes that true influence lies not in what we say, but in who we are and how we live. By focusing on living with honor, integrity, and compassion, our personal influence becomes an instrument of transformation in our environment. Chapter 4. The Dignity of Self-Reliance. In this chapter, William George Jordan addresses one of the most powerful and often misunderstood principles of personal development, self-reliance. For Jordan, self-reliance is not about isolating ourselves from others or rejecting outside help, but about cultivating an internal independence that allows us to face life's difficulties with strength and wisdom. Self-sufficiency is the dignity of being master of our own decisions, of not depending on external circumstances for our inner peace or happiness. Self-reliance as an act of inner strength. Jordan begins this chapter by highlighting that true self-reliance is not a sign of selfishness, but of inner strength. The self-sufficient person has the ability to depend on themselves to make wise decisions, solve problems, and move forward, without needing constant validation from others. This internal strength allows you to face adversity with grace and serenity, without losing your emotional balance or feeling of peace. Self-sufficiency allows us not only to take control of our lives, but also to be masters of our destiny, without external opinions or unforeseen circumstances diverting us from the path we have chosen. By developing our self-reliance, we can approach life with security and confidence without expecting everything around us to be perfectly aligned so that we can feel good. The importance of self-control in self-reliance. A key theme that Jordan introduces in this chapter is the relationship between self-reliance and self-control. Self-sufficiency does not simply mean physical independence, but is closely linked to emotional and mental self-control. People who are self-sufficient do not get carried away by momentary emotions or give up in the face of difficulties. Instead, they are able to remain calm and mentally clear, even in situations of stress or uncertainty. Self-control is a fundamental pillar to cultivate self-sufficiency, since it allows us to make rational decisions based on our principles, instead of acting impulsively. People who master their mind and have self-control are able to face any challenge with dignity, without feeling overwhelmed or desperate. Self-sufficiency, therefore, is not only linked to external independence, but also to self-control. Self-sufficiency versus dependence. Allen points out that dependency is one of the biggest obstacles to self-sufficiency. When we depend on others or external circumstances for our happiness and well-being, we become vulnerable. Emotional or mental dependence makes our peace and security dependent on external sources, which leaves us exposed to emotional ups and downs and constant frustrations. Self-sufficiency, on the other hand, is a way of life that gives us power over our emotions and decisions, without being at the mercy of external fluctuations. The author also highlights that self-reliance is not a process of isolating ourselves from others, but rather learning to be emotionally independent while still cultivating healthy relationships. True self-reliance is based on the ability to be strong internally, but at the same time open to meaningful relationships. Thus, instead of being dependent, we learn to strengthen our connections without losing our autonomy. Self-sufficiency as a process of personal growth. Jordan also mentions that self-sufficiency is not a destination, but rather a continuous process of development. Self-reliance is cultivated over time, as we learn to take responsibility for our decisions, confront our difficulties, and learn from our mistakes. Every step we take towards self-sufficiency strengthens us and brings us closer to becoming the best version of ourselves. The author highlights that self-sufficiency also implies accepting the consequences of our decisions, without blaming others or external circumstances. By doing so, We learn to take complete control of our lives without falling into victimization or emotional dependence. Self-reliance in times of adversity. A key aspect of self-reliance that Alan addresses is how this quality manifests itself in times of adversity. Self-sufficient people do not break down or give up easily when faced with difficulties, but are able to face challenges with a positive attitude and learn from each experience. Instead of focusing on losses or difficult circumstances, they focus on how to overcome them and move forward with determination. Self-reliance also means having faith in our ability to adapt. When we cultivate this quality, we know that we can overcome any adversity and that there will always be an opportunity for growth, even in the toughest tests. Self-sufficiency as the basis of inner peace. Finally, Alan concludes that self-reliance is the basis of inner peace. When we are self-sufficient, we do not depend on external circumstances for our peace, but rather we find calm within ourselves. This internal calm allows us to live in harmony without being dragged by social pressures or other people's expectations. Self-reliance gives us the power to create a space of peace within ourselves, regardless of what is happening in the outside world. Conclusion. This chapter highlights the importance of self-sufficiency as a pillar for a full and balanced life. Self-sufficiency is not isolation, but emotional independence and inner strength, which allows us to navigate life with serenity and confidence. By cultivating it, we can face difficulties with wisdom, make decisions thoughtfully, and live in harmony with our true essence. Chapter 5. Failure as Success. In this chapter, William George Jordan addresses one of the most common misperceptions about failure. Instead of seeing it as something negative, the author invites us to rethink failure and see it as a necessary stage on the path to success. According to Jordan, failure is not the end of a path, but rather a learning opportunity and a test of our determination. Failure, when faced with the right attitude, is a springboard that pushes us to new heights and brings us closer to our goals. Failure is not the end, but a lesson. Alan begins the chapter by highlighting that instead of viewing failure as a defeat, we should view it as a learning experience. Every failure teaches us something new, whether about ourselves, our abilities, or the world around us. The author argues that, through failure, we gain wisdom and perspective, allowing us to adjust our strategies and find better paths to success. The author emphasizes that, in life, there is no linear path to success, but true success is built through failed attempts, mistakes, and challenges. When we fail, we are not losing, but rather gaining experience and learning to do things better next time. This shift in perspective allows us to move beyond the fear of failure and move forward with confidence. Fear of failure as a limitation. Jordan also refers to fear of failure as one of the main barriers that prevents people from reaching their full potential. Fear of failure creates paralysis, doubt, and inaction, which prevents people from taking risks or leaving their comfort zone. The fear of failing becomes a self-limitation that prevents people from realizing their dreams. The author suggests that, instead of fearing failure, we should accept it as part of the growth process. Failure is an integral part of the human experience and should not be considered something to be avoided at all costs. By freeing ourselves from the fear of failure, we gain the freedom to make bold decisions and seize new opportunities without becoming trapped in doubt or paralysis. Failure as a motivating force. Jordan also highlights that failure can be a powerful motivational force. Many times, it is frustration and the need to improve that drives people to work harder and undertake new efforts. Failure awakens us and forces us to look at things from a new perspective, often leading to greater clarity about what we really want to achieve. It is adversity that can awaken our hidden potential and take us to a higher level. The author emphasizes that the great achievements in history have not been achieved by those who never failed, but by those who knew how to get up after each fall. It is this resilience in the face of failure that distinguishes those who achieve success from those who remain trapped in their fears. How to take advantage of failure to grow. One of the most important points that Alan addresses in this chapter is how to take advantage of failure to grow and evolve. Instead of regretting the mistakes made, we should reflect on them and ask ourselves, what can I learn from this? Every time we fail, we have the opportunity to adjust our approach, improve our skills, and move forward with greater wisdom. Failure is not something to be feared, but something to be used as a tool for continuous improvement. The author also suggests that maintaining a positive attitude in the face of failure is essential. By accepting failure without destructive self-criticism, we can use it as a stepping stone on our path to success, rather than seeing it as an insurmountable barrier. The self-compassion and objective reflection are key to making the most of every negative experience. Perseverance as a response to failure. Another fundamental concept that Jordan addresses is perseverance as an essential response to failure. Instead of giving up after a mistake or setback, we must persist with a renewed vision. Perseverance means moving forward, even when circumstances seem to be against us. Determination and perseverance are qualities that allow us to learn from our failures and move forward towards new opportunities. Jordan reminds us that perseverance in the face of failure is what ultimately leads us to success. Many times, the only difference between failure and success is the willingness to keep trying despite the falls. Perseverance becomes the greatest ally of those who seek to achieve their highest goals. The humility of failure. Finally, Alan talks about the humility that failure teaches us. Failure humbles us, teaches us valuable lessons, and makes us more aware of our humanity. When we fail, we recognize that we are not infallible, which allows us to learn with greater humility and grow as people. The humility that comes from failure helps us be more understanding of others and appreciate the efforts of others, as we understand that we are all on a continuous journey of learning. Conclusion. This chapter highlights that failure is not the enemy of success, but rather an integral part of the growth process. By facing failure with resilience, perseverance, and humility, we can turn each fall into a valuable lesson that brings us closer to our goals. The key to success is not in avoiding failure, but in learning from it and moving forward with determination. Chapter 6. Always do your best. In this chapter, William George Jordan highlights the importance of always doing our best in everything we undertake. Personal excellence is a practice that not only improves our results, but also has a positive impact on our lives and the people around us. Jordan argues that instead of seeking perfection in everything we do, we should focus on doing the best we can in every situation, no matter how small or big the task. The power of dedication to effort. Jordan begins the chapter by pointing out that doing our best is a choice we can make in every moment. Dedication to effort, the simple act of putting our whole being into what we are doing, is what separates individuals who achieve success from those who settle for mediocrity. Jordan emphasizes that the quality of effort is more important than the immediate result of our actions. By putting all our energy and attention into what we do, regardless of the results, we are opening ourselves up to constant improvement and great opportunities. The author emphasizes that doing the best does not mean doing what is easiest or what requires the least effort, but always applying our maximum resources and skills to carry out the task in the most complete and effective way possible. This consistent dedication not only helps us realize our potential, but also lays a solid foundation for long-term success. The importance of constant effort. One of the key ideas of this chapter is that excellence is not an occasional result, but a constant effort. Jordan says that always doing your best is not something that happens only in moments of great inspiration or when we feel motivated, but rather it is a daily decision that becomes a habit. True excellence comes from being consistent in giving our best in everything we do, from the smallest to the largest. The author reminds us that consistency is what builds success, and daily dedication to improving and doing your best creates a positive cycle that feeds on itself. By striving every day to do our best, we begin to see results not only in our immediate tasks, but also in our overall skills, confidence, and long-term achievements. Excellence as an attitude, not a skill. Jordan also argues that doing the best is not just a matter of technical skills or intellectual capabilities, but primarily of attitude. Excellence begins with the mentality of always doing the best. When we adopt this attitude, we commit to giving the best to ourselves and others, regardless of the circumstances. This attitude allows us to grow, overcome obstacles, and be more resilient when things don't go as we expect. Furthermore, Jordan emphasizes that doing our best always leads us to a life of purpose and fulfillment. By focusing on the quality of our effort, we not only achieve our goals more easily, but we also enjoy the process. The satisfaction of knowing that we have given our best to each task is a source of personal fulfillment that surpasses superficial achievements. The impact of excellence on others. Another fundamental aspect of this chapter is the impact that having an attitude of excellence has on others. Jordan points out that when we commit to doing better, we not only benefit ourselves, but our example inspires others. The people around us, whether at work, family, or community, are influenced by our dedication and positive attitude, which motivates them to emulate our behavior. In this way, excellence is not only something that elevates us, but also elevates others, creating a more positive and productive environment. The author emphasizes that excellence has a multiplier effect. When everyone in a group, team, or community does their best, it creates a high-performance culture that leads to exceptional results and collective growth. This idea highlights the importance of being a role model through our attitude and constant effort. Overcome mediocrity through constant effort. Jordan also addresses the fight against mediocrity. We live in a society where the minimum is often expected and people are content with doing just enough to go unnoticed. However, the author invites us to reject mediocrity and commit to personal excellence. Mediocrity arises when we settle for less than we can achieve. True satisfaction and success come only when we demand of ourselves and decide to give our best at every moment. The link between excellence and inner peace. At the end of the chapter, Jordan concludes that personal excellence is deeply linked to inner peace. When we strive to do our best, we feel at peace with ourselves because we know we are doing what is right and doing our best. This inner peace allows us to live in accordance with our values and feel complete. By always doing our best, we not only achieve our goals, but we also cultivate a more satisfying and balanced life. Conclusion. This chapter invites us to reflect on our attitude towards effort and excellence. Always doing your best is not an easy task, but it is the key to achieving success, happiness, and personal fulfillment. Excellence is not a destination, but a constant path of growth. By committing to the quality of our actions, we find a deep sense of purpose and satisfaction that does not depend on results, but on the constant effort to give our best. Chapter 7. The Royal Road to Happiness. In this chapter, William George Jordan offers a profound reflection on the true source of happiness. Throughout the text, the author dismantles the idea that happiness depends on external factors such as money, material possessions, or social success. Instead, Jordan maintains that happiness is an internal state, a choice we make every day through our thoughts and attitudes. Happiness, according to him, is not a destination to reach, but a path that we travel with a positive attitude, gratitude, and inner peace. Happiness as an internal state. Jordan begins the chapter by stating that true happiness does not depend on external circumstances, but on how we perceive and respond to those circumstances. Authentic happiness is not the result of having more things or achieving great successes, but of living in harmony with oneself. When our mind is at peace, our actions aligned with our values and our thoughts focused on the positive, we experience lasting happiness. The author explains that the problem with the search for happiness lies in the mistaken belief that it is something we can achieve through the accumulation of external achievements. However, true happiness is only found when we are able to cultivate inner peace and serenity regardless of what is happening around us. Happiness, in this sense, is a conscious choice of how to view life and face challenges. The impact of thoughts on our happiness. In this chapter, Jordan delves into the crucial role our thoughts play in creating our emotional reality. Happiness is not simply a response to what happens outside of us, but the direct result of how we think about the circumstances we experience. If we choose to think positively, focus on the good, and practice gratitude, our lives will be filled with joy and fulfillment. Jordan maintains that the mind is the soil in which happiness grows. If our thoughts are centered on gratitude and hope, and if we focus on what we can control, our lives will naturally be happier. On the contrary, negative thoughts and fear keep us from happiness, as they keep us trapped in worries and unsatisfied desires. The importance of gratitude. The author also highlights that one of the most powerful practices to cultivate happiness is gratitude. Practicing gratitude diverts us from worries and anchors us in the present, helping us appreciate what we already have. When we are grateful for what life offers us, we find peace and contentment, regardless of what we lack. Jordan encourages us to focus our minds on what is good and positive, instead of focusing on what we are missing or problems we have not yet solved. Gratitude, according to the author, frees us from the cycle of dissatisfaction and allows us to enjoy life as it is. By focusing on the small moments of joy, beauty, and everyday blessings, we create a mental environment that fosters happiness. Happiness through aligned action. Another important lesson from this chapter is that happiness is also linked to our actions. Jordan states that when our actions are aligned with our deepest values, we experience a sense of satisfaction and fulfillment. Doing what we are truly passionate about and working towards our goals gives us a sense of purpose, which in turn fuels our happiness. The author highlights that lasting happiness is found in the coherence between what we think, what we feel, and what we do. When we act in accordance with our principles and live with integrity, we feel at peace and satisfied with ourselves, allowing us to experience genuine happiness. Furthermore, the action that is focusing on the well-being of others also generates deep happiness, since by giving to others, we receive in the form of gratitude and shared joy. Detachment as the key to happiness. Jordan introduces another fundamental concept, detachment. Throughout the chapter, the author explains that attachment to material things or even relationships can be a source of dissatisfaction and suffering. True happiness lies in freeing ourselves from the constant desire to possess or control things. When we detach ourselves from external expectations and live with what we have, we find peace and joy. Detachment does not mean disinterest or indifference, but appreciation for what we have and acceptance of circumstances as they are. This approach frees us from the fear and anxiety that comes with the need to have more, and allows us to enjoy the present moment without comparing ourselves to others or wishing for what we don't have. The connection between happiness and service to others. A crucial theme of this chapter is how happiness is multiplied when we live in service to others. Jordan reminds us that by helping others, our own well-being increases. True happiness is found in the act of giving, in sharing our blessings, and uplifting others. By working for the common good, we not only improve the lives of others, but we also experience deep satisfaction knowing that our actions have a positive impact. Conclusion. This chapter reminds us that happiness is not a destination, but a path that is built through positive attitudes, gratitude, detachment, and actions aligned with our deepest values. True happiness is found within us and is a direct result of the way we choose to think and live. We do not need to look for it outside, but rather cultivate it with every thought, decision, and daily action. Chapter 8. The Value of Serenity in Adversity. In this chapter, William George Jordan focuses on the importance of serenity in times of difficulty and adversity. Jordan argues that although it is easy to remain calm when everything is going well, it is in moments of crisis that our inner strength is truly tested. According to the author, serenity is not only a virtue to be cultivated in times of peace, but a crucial tool for facing adversity with wisdom and grace. Instead of getting carried away by emotions and chaos, those who practice serenity manage to maintain balance and find effective solutions in times of difficulty. Serenity as a response to chaos. Jordan begins the chapter by highlighting that, in life, adversities are inevitable. We all face difficult times, whether it be personal losses, professional failures, or emotional challenges. However, how we respond to those moments of adversity is what truly defines our experience. Serenity is ability to remain calm and clear-minded even when the world around us seems to be falling apart. The author explains that serenity is not a denial of adversity, but a way of facing it with a positive and balanced mindset. Serenity allows us to see problems as opportunities to learn and grow, rather than seeing them as insurmountable obstacles. When we remain calm, we can make wiser decisions and face difficulties more effectively. The power of calm in the face of crisis. Jordan emphasizes that, in moments of crisis, our emotional response can be the difference between success and failure. People who lose their cool and are overcome by fear or anger often make hasty and wrong decisions that only make the situation worse. On the other hand, those who maintain composure are able to analyze the situation objectively, see the available options, and make decisions with perspective. The author also highlights that when we stay calm, we can inspire others to do the same. Serenity attracts serenity, and by modeling calm in the midst of adversity, we can strengthen those around us. Calm is a silent force that lessens the emotional impact of crisis and opens the way to practical solutions. Serenity as emotional protection. Jordan also addresses the topic of emotional protection. In times of adversity, it is easy to become consumed by pain or anguish. However, serenity acts as a protective shield that allows us to maintain inner peace despite external circumstances. Serenity does not mean that we do not feel pain or suffering, but it helps us manage those emotions in a healthy way without them controlling us. The author emphasizes that, when we maintain our serenity, we do not allow external problems to affect our internal well-being. This emotional self-control helps us take a breath and think clearly instead of getting carried away by impulsive reactions that could make the situation worse. How to cultivate serenity in difficult times. Jordan offers several practices and approaches for cultivating serenity, even in difficult times. 1. Self-care. Maintaining serenity begins with taking care of our mental and emotional health. This involves making space for rest, reflection, and relaxation practices that help us maintain balance. 2. Meditation and reflection. Meditation is a powerful tool to calm the mind and body. By spending a few minutes a day meditating, we can reduce stress and cultivate a deep sense of calm that will help us face any challenge. 3. Acceptance. Accepting circumstances as they are is a way to free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. By not resisting what we cannot change, we allow ourselves to face the situation with greater clarity. 4. Gratitude. The daily practice of gratitude helps us focus our minds on the positive, even when things are not going well. Remembering what we have and what we have achieved allows us to maintain perspective and reduce despair. 5. Social support. Surrounding yourself with people who support our serenity is also crucial. Seeking support from friends, family, or even therapists can give us the space we need to process our emotions without losing our cool. Serenity and personal growth. Jordan notes that serenity is not only helpful in times of crisis, but is also a catalyst for personal growth. By staying calm and facing difficulties with a balanced attitude, we can learn valuable lessons that not only help us overcome current challenges, but also prepare us to face future obstacles with greater wisdom and maturity. Serenity allows us to see adversity from a broader perspective, recognize opportunities in the midst of difficulty, and face challenges with confidence. This ability to remain calm is one of the most powerful qualities we can cultivate, as it helps us transform any situation into an opportunity for growth. Conclusion. This chapter reminds us that, although adversities are inevitable, serenity is our most powerful tool to face them. Maintaining calm, self-control, and mental clarity in difficult times not only helps us make better decisions, but also allows us to live with more peace and wisdom. Serenity is not a luxury, but a necessity for those who want to overcome life's challenges effectively and fully. Chapter 9. Controlling the Mind and Emotions. In this chapter, William George Jordan delves into the idea that control of the mind and emotions is essential to living a balanced and successful life. According to Jordan, the human mind has great power for both good and evil, and if left unchecked, it can lead us to stray from our goals, live in emotional chaos, and lose focus. However, when we learn to control our thoughts and emotions, we reach a level of personal power that allows us to live with purpose and be more resilient in the face of difficulties. The mind as a powerful tool. Jordan begins the chapter by explaining that the mind is the most powerful tool we have, but also the most difficult to use. Without conscious control, the mind can distract us, cloud our judgment, and lead us toward negative thoughts. When we do not exercise effective control, our emotions spiral out of control, resulting in stress, frustration, and despair. The author argues that if we manage to master our mind, we will be able to transform any situation and live in a more full and balanced way. Mental control allows us to face challenges with clarity, avoid anxiety, and make informed decisions. The mind is the engine of our actions, so understanding how to control it is essential for success. The mind and emotions, an inseparable relationship. Jordan also reminds us that the mind and emotions are closely connected. Our thoughts generate emotions, and these, in turn, affect our thoughts. If we allow our thoughts to focus on the negative or fear, our emotions will become equally negative and destructive. For example, constantly thinking about frustration or anguish can generate stress and emotional exhaustion, which affects our ability to make rational decisions. The author highlights that true control of the mind is what allows us to direct our thoughts towards the positive and towards what we really want in life. When we choose thoughts of hope, gratitude, and trust, our emotions follow that direction, creating a virtuous circle that strengthens our inner peace and our ability to face life with serenity. The power of awareness and mindfulness. A key aspect of this chapter is the power of consciousness. Jordan suggests that the first step to controlling the mind is to be aware of our thoughts. Many times, our thoughts operate on autopilot, guided by unconscious patterns and unprocessed emotions. Conscious self-observation is the first step to taking control, as it allows us to identify negative or limiting thoughts before they take over our mind. In addition, the author emphasizes the importance of attention. Where we focus our attention, that's what we grow. If we devote our attention to problems, worries, or things we can't control, our mind becomes filled with stress and anxiety. However, if we turn our attention to solutions, what we can control, and the positive in our life, our mind focuses on growth, serenity, and progress. Controlling emotions through action. Another important point Jordan makes is that controlling emotions is not simply suppressing them, but learning to direct them toward positive action. When our emotions are strong, such as anger, frustration, or fear, instead of letting them control us, we should channel them into constructive action. For example, anger can be channeled into a positive effort, such as solving a problem, overcoming an obstacle, or even creating something new. Similarly, fear, which can be paralyzing, can become an impulse to act with caution and proper preparation. Emotional control is not about repressing emotions, but about transforming them into positive energy that helps us move forward and grow. The practice of mental discipline. Jordan also stresses that in order to achieve mind control, it is necessary to practice mental discipline. This involves training our minds to be more aware, more focused, and less susceptible to distractions. Mental discipline requires constant training, in the same way that an athlete trains his body. Some of the practices that the author suggests are: 1. Meditation, a way to calm the mind and focus on what is essential. 2. Affirmations, use positive thoughts to replace limiting thoughts. 3. Focus on the positive, take the time to reflect on what is right in our life and be grateful. 4. Controlled breathing, use deep breathing to reduce stress and calm the mind. The power of the quiet mind. Jordan concludes the chapter by highlighting that a calm mind is a powerful mind. When we achieve mind control, we can navigate life clearly, make wise decisions, and stay emotionally balanced. The calm mind acts with purpose, without being carried away by chaos or overflowing emotions. This calmness of mind allows us to see opportunities, solve problems creatively, and face any challenge with resilience. Conclusion. This chapter teaches us that controlling the mind and emotions is a fundamental skill for living a life of balance, peace, and success. By being aware of our thoughts, channeling our emotions in a positive way, and training our minds to be more focused and serene, we can navigate any adversity with strength. The mind is the engine of our actions, and by mastering it, we manage not only to improve our quality of life, but also to achieve our goals with clarity and determination. Chapter 10. The Art of Carefree Living. In this chapter, William George Jordan focuses on one of the most destructive and common emotions that affect many people: worry. Jordan describes worry as a debilitating force that consumes our energy, blocks our ability to think clearly, and takes us away from inner peace. Throughout the chapter, the author offers a practical approach to how we can free ourselves from worry and live with greater serenity and tranquility. Worry as an illusion of control. Jordan begins the chapter by pointing out that worry stems from the mistaken belief that, by constantly thinking about a problem or anticipating the future, we can control the outcome of a situation. However, worry only robs us of energy and clouds our minds, without really contributing to a solution. According to the author, worrying does not change the circumstances, but wears us down emotionally. The real solution to worry is to accept that there are many things out of our control. By learning to free ourselves from the need to control everything, we can live with more peace and less anxiety. Worry is therefore a false illusion of control that makes us feel like we are doing something useful, when in fact it is preventing us from acting effectively. The power of living in the present. One of the key focuses Jordan presents in this chapter is the idea of living in the present. Many times, we worry about what might happen in the future or what has already happened in the past, but by focusing on the present, we can free ourselves from that burden. According to Jordan, the future cannot be predicted with certainty, and the past can no longer be changed, so worrying about them only robs us of the time and energy we could use to live well in the present. The author proposes that the key to worry-free living is to focus completely on what we are doing now. By appreciating the present moment, we have the ability to enjoy life as it is, without being swept away by fears or regrets. Worry loses its power when we choose to live with full attention to current circumstances, not letting anxieties of the future or regrets of the past interfere. The connection between mind and worry. Jordan also talks about how our minds contribute to worry. Often, our minds tend to overanalyze and catastrophize situations, which fuels anxiety and fear. Worry becomes a negative spiral, where each negative thought feeds another, creating a sense of helplessness. To break free from this cycle, the author suggests that we should actively control our thoughts and replace worries with positive thoughts or self-care practices. Instead of letting the mind focus on the negative, we can direct it to what we can actually do to improve the situation and work with what is within our control. The key is to stop fearing the unknown and accept what we can't change. The importance of action to overcome worry. Jordan stresses that action is one of the most effective ways to overcome worry. Often, worry arises when we feel insecure or unable to do something about a situation. However, when we take positive action, even if it's a small step, we feel empowered and less overwhelmed by the situation. The author encourages us to act decisively instead of getting caught up in negative thoughts. Action gives us control and allows us to move forward, leaving behind the anxiety of not knowing what to do. By taking action, even if it's small, we're actively addressing the problem, which reduces the amount of worry we experience. Gratitude as a tool to let go of worry. Another tip Jordan offers to stop worrying is to practice gratitude. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack or what we fear to what we already have and what we have achieved. By being grateful for what is in our life, we change our perspective and find peace in what is already present. The author stresses that gratitude not only decreases worry, but also brings us closer to inner peace. Appreciating what we have now gives us a feeling of sufficiency that allows us to free ourselves from anxieties about the future. By focusing on the positive, the mind aligns with an attitude of peace rather than distress. Acceptance and forgiveness as keys to peace of mind. Acceptance also plays a fundamental role in this chapter. Jordan teaches us that accepting what we can't change is one of the best ways to free ourselves from worry. This implies letting go of the need to control the result and accepting that everything has its time and its course. Accepting circumstances allows us to live serenely, knowing that if we can't change something, there's no need to waste time worrying about it. Forgiveness is also an important aspect of this process. If we are caught in resentment or wounds, in this chapter, we will learn how to cultivate strength of character and how this quality can transform us into resilient, honest, and trustworthy individuals. Character as the foundation of all lasting success. Jordan begins the chapter with a powerful affirmation. Character is the foundation of all lasting achievement. Often, people focus on achieving superficial success, whether in terms of wealth, fame, or social status. However, the author reminds us that these achievements are ephemeral if they are not supported by a solid character. True success and satisfaction are achieved when our values and principles guide our decisions, rather than chasing external recognition. Strength of character allows us to face challenges with integrity, persist despite adversity, and make wise decisions that lead us to a full and balanced life. Character in the face of adversity. One of the main lessons of this chapter is that character is forged in adversity. Difficulties, losses, and moments of challenge are not only inevitable, but necessary to strengthen our personality. Jordan stresses that those with strong character do not break easily in the face of evidence. Instead, difficulties become opportunities to grow and learn. People with character have the resilience to overcome adversity and the wisdom to learn from every experience, without losing their commitment to their principles. The author notes that character is also strengthened when we choose to act righteously in difficult times, even when the temptation to take the easy way out or to compromise our values seems appealing. The choices we make in times of trial are what truly define the strength of our character. True character is revealed when we are tested. The importance of integrity. Jordan emphasizes that integrity is one of the fundamental pillars of character. Integrity is not only about being honest with others, but also about being honest with ourselves. Acting with integrity means living according to our principles, regardless of circumstances or external pressures. The author explains that when we live with integrity, we earn the trust of others and build relationships based on respect and honesty. In addition, integrity allows us to maintain our inner peace. By acting in a manner consistent with our values, we feel in harmony with ourselves, which gives us a sense of satisfaction and self-confidence. Conversely, when we compromise our integrity, we feel guilty, insecure, and disconnected from our true essence. Self-discipline as a key to character. A crucial aspect that Jordan addresses in this chapter is the role of self-discipline in character building. Self-discipline is the ability to control ourselves, not to give into momentary impulses, and to follow a path of personal growth, even when faced with difficulties or temptations. The author explains that, without self-discipline, our goals and aspirations are easily thrown out of balance by procrastination, indulgence, or lack of direction. Self-discipline doesn't mean being strict or ourselves, but rather being able to direct our energy toward what really matters. By developing self-discipline, we learn to prioritize our goals, work toward them consistently, and avoid falling into distractions that divert us from our true purpose. Strong character is built when we are able to sustain our decisions with determination, even when the road becomes challenging. Empathy and service to others. Jordan also discusses empathy and how this quality contributes to strong character. Empathy allows us to put ourselves in others' shoes, understand their challenges, and show compassion. A strong character is not only firm in their own principles, but they also care deeply about others and look for ways to support those around them. Empathy helps us build deeper, more meaningful, and respectful relationships based on mutual understanding. The author points out that true strength of character is not measured by the power or influence we have over others, but by our ability to serve, listen, and uplift others. Greatness of character is shown in our ability to build bridges, support those in need, and act with compassion, regardless of our situation. The importance of perseverance. Jordan concludes this chapter by emphasizing that perseverance is an essential element of character. Strong character is not formed overnight.